Thank you, Geeta. Thank you, everyone, for coming. This, of course, is such an amazing showroom, and I hope you got to walk around and see some of the beautiful appliances, both the small kitchen appliances and what we call the majors, the big ones. They're just absolutely fabulous. And everybody, a lot of customers that own Sub-Zero Wolf, and they have Sub-Zero Wolf kitchens for years, wanted their entire kitchen to be Sub-Zero Wolf. So we started kind of conversations around kitchen appliances, small kitchen appliances, back in 2012. And then it took until 2015 for the products to launch. They launched about midway or kind of late third quarter 2015. And when we launched the products, we launched with the countertop oven, two toasters, a 4-slice toaster, a 2-slice toaster, the fabulous blender, and what am I missing? And then the cookware and cutlery, the knives and a cookware set. Since then, the products have been doing amazingly well. We not only sell them through dealers and distributors for Sub-Zero Wolf, but we sell at high-end retailers and only high-end retailers. So Williams-Sonoma was a launch partner of ours, as was Sur La Table. We have products in Neiman's, Bloomingdale's, and we just put a couple of the products into Macy's. Two of the big products that we launched this year, the newest baby that we have launched is our stand mixer. Now, Molly will go through some of the performance of the stand mixer, as will Marta. Marta, who is standing over here, is really the brains behind all of Wolf Gourmet. She is our brand director. She is the product in charge of all product development for Wolf Gourmet, all of the launch assets for Wolf Gourmet, and she knows everything there is to know about all of the appliances. So without further ado, I will let Marta walk you through some of our brand new products, and then Chef Molly will go through all the fabulous food, and then I'll let you eat. Stop talking.
Okay, thanks, Mary Beth. Yeah, I'm Marta Phillips. I'm responsible, as Mary Beth said, for the product development for Wolf Gourmet. So what that means is my team and I, we study the market. We look at opportunities where we can launch products that can really change the space that's out there. We look for white space that isn't really being addressed, consumer needs, what consumers are kind of compensating for in the kitchen with their current appliances. And we try to address those needs as we develop these Wolf Gourmet products, while also really matching the brand aesthetics and the quality that Wolf expects and emulates in their own products. That's something that's very critical. And so we work very closely, our teams, we are based in Richmond, Virginia. We work very closely with the teams up in Madison, Wisconsin, and really they kind of follow us through the whole product development process. And we talk to them on a regular basis about what we're thinking, about how we're going to develop the product, what we expect to bring to the market, and how we're going to really make something that consumers are excited and proud to have in their kitchen. And I think that's what you're going to see. And if you've had a chance to use the products, you'll find that experience as what you get in the Wolf Gourmet line. So with the stand mixer, what we did is we looked at not only what's in the consumer space for stand mixing, but also what's in the commercial space, because commercial stand mixers are extremely robust. They actually use a transmission system that allows you to set gearing based on what you're mixing. So whether you're whipping, mixing dough, or mixing batters, or kneading dough, it has a transmission system that matches that particular thing that you're mixing. What we found is that while we didn't want to utilize a transmission system in the mixer, we were able to emulate kind of the power that we needed in a more traditional construction, because the transmission system actually added a lot of weight and cost to the product. So one of the tests that we run on this mixer is a bread dough test that we do in our labs, where we take 12 cups of flour and a small amount of water, about 3 cups of water, and we run a dough ball. That's about a 7-minute test. I call it a cement ball. It's a very abusive test. We found that, for example, some of our competitors' units started smoking when we tried to do that test. And we run that test for 7 minutes, and then we only let the mixer cool down for 3 minutes, and then we repeat that test. And we do that 100 times. Actually, we actually do it to failure, but we required a minimum of at least 100 cycles. and we actually got up to, the latest I think we're over 200 cycles with that abusive dough ball test. So we expect a lot of these products because we know consumers are going to expect a lot when they get in their homes. One of the other unique things about this, that I think I got to show it to some of you, and I just want to make sure you all got to see it, is this bowl lift system. It's very different from anything that's out there right now. So you don't see any arms holding the bowl. It does not have a tilt head function, but it has a tall skirt with these nubs on the sides of the bowl. It drops into the base, and you just turn it into the mixing position. Makes it very easy to use, very easy to clean. A couple of neat features that we put on here too. We like to call the dials that we have, like on the blender and on this product, infinite control. So there's no those notched dedicated settings, but that you can actually adjust and really finesse the control of the mixer as you're using it. There's also a pulse function on here, which is wonderful for if you're integrating ingredients that you don't want to over-process, berries, nuts, chips, if you're folding in ingredients. So it has that pulse functionality that just will gently allow you to incorporate those ingredients as well. I don't want to take away all of Molly's spiel, but there's also, we do have a PTO on the front, power takeoff on the front that will allow you to add an attachment. I know she's going to show you that a little later, so I won't talk about that too much. So that was one of our, that's really a brand new launch, as Mary Beth said. This is just coming out now. It does have the 3 different implements with it, a whisk, a bread dough hook, and a paddle as well.
And it retails for
$8.99.
between $8.99 and $1,000, depending on the retailer.
Yes. Yeah. We also have a new blender that we've come out with this year. The blenders are fantastic because they have presets on them, so you can do soup, smoothies, ice crush, or puree with just a touch of a button. You actually just set that to the preset, press the start-stop, and it will complete the cycle for you. And then there's also a manual setting on the product as well. One of the things we try to do is, again, think about consumer convenience. So sometimes you want a lot of control over what you're doing. Sometimes you want the machine to do it for you. So with like the blender and the oven also has a lot of presets. With the multifunction cooker has a lot of presets. We try to design in that flexibility where the consumer can use the product how they want to use it, and it's optimized really for their experience.
But this one was so popular that I'm out of stock on it. So this is our brand new chef's knife. It's a 5.5-inch chef's knife with a serrated edge. We have one with a straight edge, and then we have the serrated edge. What I have loved about this knife is it's tomato season, and it just goes right through them. You're all nodding. I mean, it's just fabulous for any of the soft fruits or vegetables. But I've used it for a lot of other uses. It's a great size. I love the 5.5-inch on both the straight edge and this. It's just a great size in a chef's knife. All of our knives are a fusion of Asian and German design. They're manufactured in Germany, but they're really built to keep their sharpness and to be easy to sharpen. Those are 2 things, again, like Marta was saying, that when consumers' pressure points for knives are the knife staying sharp and easy to sharpen, and these knives are both of that, and you will get to experience that firsthand. We also did a lot of design around the handle and kind of the balance of the knife. Please feel free to play with some of these today, very safely, of course. But we have pocketwood handles and then this great kind of indent on the bolster right here. And what that does is it's just a very comfortable design. So however you're holding your knife, whether you hold it like this or you kind of have the grip like this, or some people hold it like this, we don't care how you hold it. It will just be extremely comfortable when you do. And this rivet right here will not give you any kind of calluses if you're doing a lot of chopping.
I thank you all for coming today. My name is Molly Kruger. I am the chef here in the showroom, and I get to play with all of our lovely appliances, countertop, as well as all of our other equipment, ranges, countertops, ovens, wall ovens, convection steam ovens. So having all of the equipment in concert is really, really makes my life super easy. And I wish that I could tell you that I work but I really get to play because like food is my passion. So if I talk a little bit long-winded about food, just kind of slow me down. Although I read some of your bios, so I know that some of you are also very enthusiastic about food as well. So you guys are all right here in the good company. And then hopefully you had a coffee when you came in. I want to tell you a little bit about the coffee maker. If you haven't had a chance to get your hands on it, look at it, have a sip of coffee. I have to tell you, it's probably one of my favorite pieces of equipment. Well, that's not really true. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. But at probably about 5:15 in the morning, it's my favorite piece of equipment. And so we're going to actually start sending out what I'm going to start making because it's always more fun to watch and eat and listen, and then this way we can ask questions and as far as what we're doing. What we made was a fire-roasted tomato soup. We made it in the blender. Super, super simple. This has a soup setting, and I'm going to actually add the ingredients. I'm going to start getting it going, but it's a 5.5-minute cycle, so I'm not going to talk over it. But that's what we did. Is I went to not Whole Foods, but Sprouts. They have this Muir Glen's fire roasted tomato. You can get it at the grocery store. Just added a can of this and a sweet onion, and then we did some some roasted garlic. We just took I order 5.5 pounds of peeled garlic from my produce purveyor because I'm a little lazy and I don't like to peel garlic. So I have a whole bunch left over. I put it in a pot, I cover it with olive oil, and then we, on our burners, if anybody's interested in talking about our other equipment after, totally talk about that. So even though we're starting with cold ingredients, it is going to heat up over 5.5 minutes, and so it is going to expand. So you still have to keep into consideration the fact that it is going to expand, so you don't want to fill it up more than halfway. And then I'm just going to turn it over here and put it onto the soup setting. Just a note about the soup, I did not add any cream to it whatsoever. So it's really nice and creamy and smooth just by itself. And yep. And because we were kind of debating on whether to add cream or not, we added, took a little bit off and tasted it, and we thought it doesn't need anything. So super simple, nice, wholesome, grilled cheese. Today you guys are having shrimp burgers. So a shrimp burger or a hamburger or a grilled cheese with a 5.5-minute soup. We open up the lid, and I have an infrared gun because we wanted to know what temperature it was. When I open it up, it's 160 degrees. And there's different size dies that are available. And then if anybody's done any kind of grinding, you're always going to have to start with a larger die and then eventually start making your way down. So we could even make hot dogs if we wanted to, although, so I'm going to put that in there. There is, right there.
Do any of these attachments come with?
So the food grinder attachment is separate.
Okay.
It is, yeah.
And we have
This is what's standard, yes?
Yes, that's standard, correct.
Okay. All right, so we're all set. And then the mixer. I'm just going to add my shrimp up into the top. And I have my plunger. And earlier this morning we did probably like 6 pounds in no time. Just easily swept all the way through. I'm just doing a couple shrimp just to show you the ease of setup. And when you're dealing with shrimp is easy breakdown to go through the grinder, but if I was doing something like venison that was a little bit, has more structure, I could have turned the motor up to give it more power to be able to push it through. I'm going to use a little bit of this oil. I heated up our griddle. Okay, so I don't own my own home. I don't have Wolf appliances in my home, but I have Wolf Gourmet in my home. And I can tell you that I use this griddle all the time. My 13-year-old, my 16-year-old has no interest in cooking whatsoever. She is the queen of the household and tells her sister to cook her something. So my little one makes scrambled eggs. She made grilled cheese the other day. I do grilled eggplant on here. I made a stir fry on here. And the other thing is that I also use my lid too, so I can create kind of like a Dutch oven. So it's not just an open surface to, I don't know, I can make it steam. If I need it to cook longer, I can turn the temperature down. And I have control. I can also just do it on a warm setting and keep things just at a nice warm temperature. Okay. So Marta was talking about the bowl. I really like this bowl because of the fact that it is a flat surface. When I sit it down, I'm not worried about it going anywhere. And the other thing is that, I don't know if I'm not supposed to put it in the dishwasher. Well, I have a sanitizer, so I have one of those big, 90-second run-through things, and it gets wickedly hot because that's the whole thing. It's got a high-heat sanitizer. But yesterday, I was making the dough for this, and I needed to cool it down really quick. I ran it through the sanitizer, and then I put it into the freezer, and it cooled down almost instantly. So it is a nice thin bowl, so if I need to get it hot or cold, it does it almost instantly. Because sometimes when I'm, like when you do egg whites and you whip it, sometimes you put a little torch to it to be able to warm it up. So it's going to transfer the heat or the cold very, very quickly. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put our butter in there. We're going to just make our pâte à sucre. And one of the tricks that I've learned is if I start with my handle every single time at a 90-degree angle to my knob, I'm going to find the right groove every single time. And for my dough, I'm going to actually use a paddle. And then I'm just going to twist it up to lock it, and it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm still learning the dial. I start very slow and then I increase the speed because the motor is very powerful. Whip, and we didn't whip it all the way to a firm whipped cream. It is whipped cream. We just did till it was nice and foamy and frothy. And so this is a great size because, most of the time if you're going to do a casserole dish, you're not going to have much larger of a casserole dish than this. And it heats up very fast. So I told you my 16-year-old who doesn't cook at all, she actually, for whatever reason, wanted to impress this boy. And they started dinner at our house before some dance. I think it was actually even prom. Something like that. And so she made salmon in the countertop oven.
Was it delicious?
Well, I wasn't home, but they loved it. They all really enjoyed it, and even my little one, who is a connoisseur, she ate it, so it must have been good. Needless to say, I'm the one who did all the flavoring. Like, I just put it on the tray, so all she had to do was put it in there. But, it's very viable to overcook things, but she cooked it perfectly. They were super happy.